It's July 20th, 2020, 6 p.m., Kingsford Town Council regular meeting. Roll call, all present with the exception of the attorney. The attorney is available by phone tonight if we need her. Get a motion to accept the minutes for July 6th and the executive session minutes on July 6th.
I'll make a motion to accept the meetings for July 6th and the executive meeting on July 6th.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the minutes on July 6th meeting and the executive meeting on July 6th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Okay, we'll open it up for the public hearing for the getting out of the Indiana Regulatory Commission. The little history on the Regulatory Commission: there are very, very few towns in the 92 counties or whatever they are in Indiana that there's 5 left in it, that are with the IURC anymore. And it used to be a good thing years and years ago and stuff, but the watchdog turned into a monopoly and making money. And when we went through and had the rate studies done from Buzz and Associates, or Cronin Associates, the Indiana Regulatory Commission right now, if you want to do a rate study to see if you can do a rate hike, costs $50,000 per utility just for the IURC to say yes or no. That's two utilities is $100,000. That $100,000 comes out of the pocket of the ratepayer. That's ridiculous. For us to want to do if the water and electric hasn't had increases in 20 years and you've got to do a 7 or 10% increase or so, if you had to go through the IURC and get that 7, 10% all of a sudden turns into 30, 40, 50%. And we're giving money away left and right. We got better things to do with $100,000 in this town, but fixing our own infrastructure, than giving it away to somebody that says yes or no. Now, people worry about the town having the utmost authority to be able to raise and lower utilities. That's not a fact. Anybody that's told you that has told you wrong. When you do a rate study, that's why you're required to do a rate study, and you have to report that to the state. You have to show that because of your expenses, your personnel, the plants that have to be upkept with the new systems that come in, seems like every month now, have to be paid for. You have to have rates to be able to sustain that. One of the problems that towns have is town councils do not like to raise utilities because it makes the council look bad. But sooner or later, down the road, 16, 20 years later, you got a group that's got to do it because the town falls otherwise. A good example of that is the study that was done on the sewage plant. The sewage plant, because nothing had been done, was just about a total loss. Your sewage plant ran on a 3-inch trash pump that was the only thing that kept it going. Or we'd have been dropping raw sewage back into the back 40 again and getting $50,000 fines. We took that sewage plant and did the increase. We've got this grant coming in. There's still an $800,000 grant. There's still hundreds of thousands of dollars need to be put into the plant. But that plant is operating fantastic right now. It's got the pumps that we need. When we go to sleep at night, we don't have to worry about backups coming into our house and stuff because the sewer plant's not working, you know. So we decided to get out of the IURC with the recommendation from Cronin Associates when they did the last rate study, because there are so few people in it anymore because it costs so much money. When I started working for the town in 1990, it cost $15,000 for the IURC to come in and make a decision. Now we're talking 50 grand per utility. We're a poor community. We got 50 grand goes a long way to fixing parks, roads, or anything else. You know, so we have to be wise and keep that money here in our community. So with that, I'll open up the hearing. We have had the proof of publication of the hearing that was in the papers and out and about for 6 weeks. So if there's any remonstrances against the town getting out of the IURC, please come forward and state your name and address for the record, and we'll hear what you got to say.
I just want to know what direction you guys then are going.
Okay, well, we can discuss that after the hearing and stuff, but the hearing's got a specific thing that has to be done.
Okay.
So, is there anybody here that wants to remonstrate against the town leaving the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission? Going once, going twice. Okay, let it be record show that there is no remonstrances against the town leaving the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission. And then with that, I would entertain a motion for ordinance number 2020-11, removing the town's water utility and electric utility from the jurisdiction of the Indiana Regulatory Commission on its third and final reading.
I'll make a motion that we remove ourselves from the IURC out of our water and electric ordinance number 2020-011 by reading only, or by
Title only.
by title only. Yeah.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept ordinance number 2020-11 on its third and final reading, removing the town's water utility and electric utility from the jurisdiction of the Indiana Regulatory Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. That was a very smart thing to do. Keeps our money here. Now, as for your question about moving forward, we as a council have to sit down. We do have rate studies for the water and electric. I can tell you that both the water and electric haven't had raises in about 20 years. If there are raises coming, they will be very, very small. There won't be anything like your sewer rate and stuff. The rate studies that I've seen on the water and the electric were somewhere like 11-17%. So, you know, if you weren't looking at your bill really carefully, you probably wouldn't even see it. But
I believe they also give you a recommendation. After they do the rate study, they can recommend which way to go.
yeah, and we've got that recommendation too. But it was getting out of the IURC that was stopping it. So we will be discussing that at further meetings though. Ivan Golinko's permit. The planning commission president has not showed. Would one of the council members from the planning commission care to share on Ivan's permit?
We talked to Mr. Galenko, and he wants another, we gave him 2 weeks to clean up all of the garbage that's around his place to make it look really nice. And we gave him another 4 months to get everything done. So we're at a standstill.
Yeah, that was only 33 months he was asking for though.
Yeah. He actually wanted 10, but he's been putting this building up for 3 years, and we decided 3 months. We give him extra 3 months.
Now that being said, we did decide to give him some more time to finish it off. He got us all together and asked us to come over and look at his building, so we all got together, 4 of us, me and Evelyn and Ben and David Draves, and we went over and looked at it. We took in consideration that we gave him another 4 months to finish off his building completely. And after going back and looking at his building and seeing that he didn't really do anything inside of his building, he has failed to meet the agreement that we had the first time. So that's why we're bringing it to the council now. It's beyond the planning committee's hands. We're going to bring it to the council. We're going to try to figure out what we're going to do with this. We have a few ideas.
You stated that you guys give him another 3 months?
We would.
So, or you would?
We would
I
give
know
her,
they- I know they did.
nothing was set in stone because we stopped the meeting.
I gave you them, did you get the minutes
Yeah.
that I wrote? I
He-
think
he-
it said 3 months.
He was asking for 3 months, but we never, once we got into the meeting and found out what was going on and understood what he was saying to us, we stopped everything because we thought maybe that we needed to go see what he had done. And then we was gonna move forward from that, into consideration that he was gonna clean his building up at the same time.
So there's really nothing done on the inside?
We walked in there and I seen about 10 pieces of drywall and there's stairways missing, there's nothing done. There's no plumbing, there's no electric, there's no nothing. And these things should have been done with this 4 months that we already gave him. When we talked to him the other day when he was at the meeting, he said that he just now ordered the windows and doors for it, which probably should have been ordered a while back, but that's not, nothing I can do nothing about. But the thing is we gave him plenty of time. So now we're at a standstill right now to what we need to actually do with them.
Well, I think the planning commission has dealt with it long enough. I think we as a council need to put our foot down, or feet down. If you guys have given them another 3 months,
I'm
then-
almost sure that we did.
then I would say
I didn't keep minutes, but he should have it. I wrote
whatever
it all
that,
down.
whatever that 3 months was, if it was given 3 more months, that a permit not be issued to Mr. Galenko past that 3 months. And at that point, he will have to come before a town council meeting and discuss his operations with us. As far as I'm concerned, he can put a, performance bond on his building. And if he doesn't finish it, then we'll.
He loses the bond,
We'll
that's
lose that, we'll gain that
Well,
bond.
that
During the
bond-
discussion,
we've
he
been-
got a little upset, so I asked him if he was trying to, browbeat us. He says no, but he was sort of making demands,
He told us,
leave, who cares, it's a mess anyway.
yeah, he told us that we didn't give him permit, he was just
Yeah.
gonna leave the building alone, he
Yeah.
wasn't gonna do nothing with it.
Well, and then
Well,
the fines
maybe,
come
maybe
with
we need to
that.
see Mr. Galenko here then,
We've
and
requested
before we
a
go
recording
forward.
never shows.
Well, he's been showing.
No, he's been showing, he's hard to understand because he's Russian, so his
Yeah.
English is really broken and.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he was doing,
Understands.
he was finally doing the talking for himself too at the same time. I mean, he had the building inspector do most of his talking before.
And that's one of the failures here. There's no reason that this building was not done. This should have been a state permit. It should not have been a town permit. The building inspector had no right to issue a building permit to this person and stuff. That had to come from the state. The planning commission, as far as I know, even to this day, has not seen drawings of anything what that building was supposed to be done. When we sit down as a planning commission in the past, the people came to us, they had drawings, they could tell us what the concrete was, what the electric was gonna be, what the whole 9 yards. This has all been backwards, and it's all been a lack of the building inspector doing his job. I think that if the planning commission's given the 3 months, I would stay with the 3 months.
I'm not sure.
But after that 3 months, he has to come here and stuff before anything's done.
Yeah, but what about that performance bond? That performance bond needs to come now. Because if we turn around, give him another 3 months and he doesn't do anything, we're right back where we was at.
At the same time, as the planning commission told him that we needed that performance
No.
bond, because that's what I would require. I mean, this has been going on for 4 years, and he does a little bit, it goes away, and then you don't see anybody there for months and months, and then when it gets close to the permits being expired, he put in some windows. That's basically all he did within this last,
He put a roof on it since the last time I
Yeah.
talked to him, but that was about the only thing he did, but
and
still.
now they got a few
Well,
windows around.
basically,
it.
this fell into our laps.
Yeah,
So
it
we're
did.
just going from there.
Mhm.
I mean, he actually don't even know what's gonna be in the place. I mean, I said, what is it gonna be? So, that's, but
Okay.
no direct answer.
With that answer from somebody that's building a building in our community that's gonna be a business, until he can come before this town council and say, ladies and gentlemen, this is what this is gonna be, and here's the plans for that, I say that he puts a stop work order on it right now
I
until
say
he
so
starts
too.
complying.
I think so too.
That would be my recommendation.
I think that's a few people's recommendation, and I think that's what the planning
Well, I
committee
think
was
right now you
thinking.
guys are trying to supersede the planning board because they've already gave the guy permission to proceed.
If that's been done, then that's fine, but after that, we need to put our foot down.
No permit was ever issued yet.
I think he's still working off the one he had.
No, he's not working on it at all, because the other one expired.
Well, my
Expired on
thing is, this
17.
guy got 2 or 3 permits. I think 1 permit is enough.
Are we
I
able
mean,
to
every
get,
time.
are we
it's-
able to get all this paperwork in front of us that we're looking at how many permits have actually been
Too
in their
many.
expiration?
Too
Well,
many.
I get it, but I'd like to be able to see when all these permits, so that we know exactly how many we've issued, when they expired, and everything like that, and what his progression of work is gonna be. And I agree with Dennis, we need to at least find out what he's actually putting in there. I mean, I'd like to at least be able to see the paperwork of what
I'm
the
sure-
planning commission has approved.
I'm sure
and what
Larry's
hasn't.
gonna have to have a file on this guy.
I don't
And
think there is a
Well, I can
file.
see a guy having 10 permits for a building, you get 1 permit for $400 or $500. Every time Larry writes a permit, he gets a percentage of that. And it's
Ding,
all a
ding,
money
ding,
thing,
ding.
it's a money thing.
We have
Yeah, there should
never,
only be one permit.
we've never issued multiple permits, it's always been one
He's got a
permit.
permit for everything.
Yeah, but I think a lot of
It's
a lot of our problems with this Ivan guy is the building inspector. Because he's let him slide so many times, it's not even funny. I mean, Larry come up to me one day and said, you really need to go inside and see what he's done to the inside of it.
So you did, and
And then we go in there and there's nothing in there.
that's
You
what
got
I
a
want to
bathtub
know.
in there?
You got a bathtub? Yeah, but it's just sitting on the floor, and the toilet's sitting in one room on the floor,
But
there's no.
a bathtub in a place that we have no idea what it actually is gonna be.
It's in his office, it's in his office.
I mean,
We need to get, like Dennis said, we need to get him to where he delivers some papers to us so we know what's going on.
find out
because
exactly what this building is and what it is.
He
I think
came to
the
us
planning
about-
committee should have some paperwork before we even proceed to the board.
Well, sure.
Yeah, I don't want to supersede the Grover Planning
neither-
Commission and stuff. If
Neither
they
do I,
said yes.
but I would like to get my eyes on some paperwork to have be better informed of exactly what we've allowed this guy to do and not do.
I can tell you, I have had talks with Ben though, the president, and he wants to wash his hands of it and have the council take it over. He
He's wanted that for a
has
while.
said that to me, point blank.
Well, you know, Ben's
So-
one person,
I know.
he can't speak for the whole planning board.
So we'll check with the other planning members and see what the permit issue was and go from there. And we will, if he's supposed to be issued a permit, he'll be issued a permit for the 3 months. If it wasn't gonna be a permit, then the council will take their wings.
That's not the way that I seen it at the meeting. I mean, that's what she's got on her minutes. I
It's on the
wrote some minutes
minutes.
too, but I'm pretty sure we stopped that meeting and said, hold it, we wasn't gonna give no permit until certain things
I think we
happened.
gave him 3 months and then we gave him 2 weeks
We gave him 2 weeks to clean it.
to clean up the outside.
Okay, we'll check that out. And you can check with, well, you guys can check with Ben and stuff. You guys were, whoever.
He's got Dwayne's got the minutes.
We got the minutes in our files.
Okay. Next item is from the town attorney asking us to accept newbie Lewis, Kaminsky and Jones. They have given us a standard letter for being hired. This would be over to Steve Ames litigation. And she advised that we should accept this contract and have them move forward only on what the status is of this suit.
I'll make a motion that we accept the letter.
Well, let's talk about this, let's talk about this a little bit here.
You can only go so far if it's litigation, so be careful where you.
To check the status anyway, so exactly what's going on.
And then check the status, I mean, because the tort claim's been filed, there's been numerous paperwork from the town side and his side that's been wrong, and there's no communication back and forth whatsoever on what's moving forward. So we can either sit on this for the next 2 years or 3 years and see what's going on, or we can just put our foot down and stuff and say, okay, where are we at? I don't want to be in the dark, so let's have an attorney write the letter to his and say, okay, where are you at with this?
Yep.
We may find out it's a cheap fix, we may find out it's a no fix at all, and it goes away. So I think we need to confront it, but only to find out what the status is of it. not to go any further, because we don't need to spend that kind of money.
All right, and if we go, let this go for 2 years, it's gonna potentially come back and cost us a whole bunch of money. So I'd rather attack it from the front and get out in front of it to know exactly where we stand right now, as opposed to 2 years finding out we have to pay out substantial amounts of money.
We think,
Yes.
we think,
Agreed. I agree.
so make the motion.
I'll make a motion, we accept Newby, Lewis, Kaminsky, and Jones firm to find out the status of the current litigation between Steve Ames and the town of Kingsford Heights.
Second.
Moved in second that we hire Newby, Kaminsky, and Jones, Lewis, Kaminsky, and Jones to represent the town in the Steve Ames litigation, only to find out what the status of the litigation is at this point. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Permits. I've been contacted by a few citizens, and I know Joe has been also. We've been charging for a building permit, the Amish-made sheds where they come in and they pick them up and they drop them on your property. They're already built. We're charging the citizens $30, $40 for a building permit for something that's being set and that's not permanent. I think that's wrong.
I agree too.
At any time, if something has to be moved, they can empty that shed, and you can call that company, they can come over and pick it up and move it wherever you want to. You know, the building permit is something where you come in with a stack of materials and build it. And if it's a stationary building, then the building inspector has to come over and say, no, you can't build it over here, you can't build it over here because of this utility. But if it's a moving structure, you don't have that problem. And we shouldn't be dinging our citizens $30 to go out and buy an Amish-made shed that the building inspector makes a third of that money by saying, okay, here, go get your shed. So I would say that as building permit by our ordinance states building. When you put something together.
Fences.
This isn't building, this is something that you bought complete. So I would like to see what the council's ideal. I think we just need to let the clerk's office know if we feel that way, that those don't require permits. Those are movable items that,
What's the rest of the story on the sidewalks and the electric
well,
signs?
that's all separate.
Oh, okay. I mean,
So,
You paid for it.
I am one that actually paid for a permit to have one of those Yoder sheds built, and I questioned it back then.
really?
I was told that the council, the last council, had advised that that was legal and that it was there to do. So yes, I got a $35 charge for a Yoder shed that was built and come in and put on a gravel lot that I made in the yard.
well, I think we can correct that tonight if we move forward.
That's
What do you
great.
think?
Yeah.
You?
I agree.
Well, I think it's, well, let's make it a motion and put it on record.
I don't need to make a motion, I don't want to be, because.
I make a motion. I make a motion that we don't collect money up for permits for these sheds that are coming in prefab.
Second.
It's been moved in second that the building permit is not needed for prefab sheds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Sidewalks, I've been approached by a couple of citizens in town, and this was stuff where Henry went in and replaced a fire hydrant and didn't replace the sidewalks after he tore them up.
Yes.
There are 3 places in town that was done. One is down here on Range Road across from, they'll never use that sidewalk down there, so I can't see putting money into it.
Right.
But across from, on Belvoir, the road behind me, right in the middle of the subdivision, there's this nice house, people take care of the yards. Here's this big hole with 2 missing sidewalk chunks missing out of it. That should have been replaced a long time ago.
Yep.
The
And there's one
Thorntons,
on Jefferson.
the Thorntons.
They dug it up, her sidewalk, she's got mud everywhere, it's been there for a couple of years.
Been promised and
And
promised.
promised that they were gonna do it, and it's hasn't been done.
I have talked to Jason on that and stuff. It would probably cost us a little bit extra money because it's gonna be a short load of concrete. But he is able to do that, so I brought it before the council for their approval to do the sidewalk on Jefferson and the sidewalk on Belvoir.
I know
And
this-
put an end to this problem.
I know you said that this one back here probably don't need it, but by the time they charge you for that concrete, you might as
You
well
wanna
go ahead and do it.
Let's do all three then.
Yeah.
Yep, I make the
We'll just get out of the
motion.
way. They're gonna charge us so much for the small boats
Second.
anyway.
I'll say,
Then move to second that we fix these 3 sidewalks that should have been fixed years ago.
Yeah.
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Electric sign, I'm talking about the one that's down at the Veterans Memorial Circle.
There you go.
That has been dead. We've put good money into that over the last few years. It's dead, it's not gonna be repairable and stuff. I just want the council's permission and okay to take that out of there. And as we bounce forward, maybe towards the end of the year, we start looking at a nicer electric sign that we may be able to put back down there or put somewhere else in town, you know, but,
The one right now is obsolete, right? As far as
Yeah.
parts and the inside, what was that, what was the deal on that?
the computers are fried in it, the company's not around anymore. That was built, we got that 2007? So it's 13, going 14 years old,
In
so.
one year, they spent 1,800, and next year it was done. It was a waste
Yeah,
of
they spent more money trying to fix it in the last few years than we paid for the sign in the beginning. So I think it's time to put bad, we'll clean that up down there and get rid of it, and if we decide to put another one down there, then we'll do it. If not, we'll put a nice sign down there, and I'll get one built for the circle. We're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, we don't need a motion on that.
No.
Get a motion to pay the claims in the amount of $262,871.37.
I'll make a motion that we pay the claims in the amount of $262,871.37.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded, we pay the claims in the amount of $262,871.37. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Is there any old business? Any old business? Randy, let's put you under old business. Since this is an old problem.
Yeah, it is. Down at the wastewater plant, the plant has been working good, but a blower that was put in brand new, it seized up. The company is not wanting to warranty it. They're saying it's my fault for the install. When we received the blower, it had to be flipped over for the flow to go the right direction. I called the salesman and asked him if we could flip it. He said yes. He will check with his pump specialist. He called me back and said, yeah, it can be flipped, that they're made to run both directions. We then installed it. The salesman goes, well, I can have a pump specialist there for a startup. I said, well, it's a $6,500 pump. Let's have him there for startup, check everything out to be on the safe side. Pump specialist came out. He checked, make sure the vents were in the right spot, plugs and the sight glasses, all that, because he was aware we flipped it. And he adjusted a pulley, and we did startup, and then the pump seized up short term later. And now they're saying that they will not cover the warranty. They said they will cover 25%, but they will have to do the install of 2 people, and I think it was around $1,500 for an install.
What was the price of the pump?
To rebuild and install was $5,200.
So they'll do 25%?
That's with the 25% is what they're claiming.
Okay, what exactly is this pump?
Actually, it's a blower. It's a positive displacement blower. It's the backup one for the digester. I did reach out to a company, Superior Pumps. I spoke with John. He's the guy that installed the RAS pumps in the basement downstairs. He has a guy that rebuilds all his blowers, and he says that he can pretty much get it rebuilt at lower cost. So I was just saying how the board wanted to handle this.
So these pumps didn't come with all the work that we had done prior to
This
taking
is-
the new plant?
Right. This is for the digester. There was no work being done at the digester as of right now.
These were the pumps that we bought when we first became board members. We went down and
This is the blower.
the blower.
Yeah. Yeah,
But these were some of the things that we bought when we first came into.
yes.
And what's the cost, rebuild?
I think 5,200.
5,200?
This is something that's been going on for a while. There's a pump down at the sewage plant that doesn't even fit this plant. It's probably worth $10,000 or $15,000 and stuff, but nobody's wanting it. So we tried to do some horse trading with them, you know, because it's not, nothing that we'll ever use. And they were all for it until last week, and they changed their mind. So how we ended up with a pump that doesn't fit our plant, I'm sure we can figure that out when we get into it a little bit more and stuff. But we have replaced literally, since we've taken over, all of the pumps and blowers down there. I mean, everything was trashed. And
And
this is something that's needed, and just so you know, on your financial reports, the sewage plant is, their operating fund, this month is $25,091.81. That is the first time in 3 years that the sewage plant has been above water. That's the first positive number that the sewage plant has had in 3 years. So we're going in the right direction. If we need to get this fixed, we need to get this fixed and stuff, you know, we can't let that plant fall apart. We did an outstanding job of putting it back together right now with Randy's expertise and help, and we have the money in the budget to get that done.
So what was the difference between the rebuild and the, if it wasn't rebuilt, if it just came new?
About 1,500.
Well, it seems like in the long run, we'd be better off just going with the brand new one and not have to worry about.
That's not including their install, so their install is going to be another 1,500, because they will not warranty it unless they install it.
So it'd be a $9,000 pump.
Yeah, but to take the chance of the rebuilt pump going back out again, that we don't even have any kind of warranty on it, nobody's even gonna try to fix it.
Right.
Then we take the chance of it going out again, then we're stuck right back in the same spot again. If we get a new one, then we got some kind of warranty on it, right?
The rebuild will be done by the factory for that 5,200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would have a warranty on it.
Yes.
Would it give just as much? Oh, yeah.
You should, because they'll be installing that. I won't have to install it now. After that. No.
Yeah.
And for further, just make sure we keep better good documentation with the warranties, parts, and everything else, so that when they actually tell us to do something, it's on record, or it's on paper that they told us to do
They
it, so
told us,
that.
absolutely.
You know, when I was speaking with the salesman, he didn't remember our conversation about me calling about flipping it. You know,
Yeah.
that he went into.
Yeah, you should always have a paper trail, that way you can always fall back.
I usually keep all my emails. This was done through phone conversation. I should have kept it through an email.
So is there a motion to, what do we want to do here?
Well, what everybody thinks the best
Yes, we don't
option
have
is.
much choice.
I mean,
Again.
do we want to go rebuild, go new?
I think if it's rebuilt by the factory and
factory
it
and
comes with a
reinstalled.
warranty,
Yeah, it's
Then
installed
I don't
by the
have a
factory,
problem with
me
that.
either.
the warranty is the big thing.
Yeah.
And them installing it, I think anytime in the future, you know, that with, you did what was right. We've discussed this.
Yeah.
This was a company that literally came in and looked at what he had did. They started it up, did some adjustments, and then the pump goes out and they go, oh, we didn't put it in.
I hope we don't be dealing
You
with them.
know, so, right, and he's talking about changing companies on it too. So, yeah, I would say that letting them, we spend the extra money and the warranty says, hey, you put it in, you did it, I didn't touch it, so.
Well, I'll make a
you don't worry
motion,
about it.
I'll make a motion that we spend $5,200 for a blower, right? For the
Yeah.
digester.
Yeah.
Second.
Been moved and second that we authorize the $5,200 purchase of the rebuilt blower and installation for the digester blower. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. New business, I just want to go over, I spent about an hour and 45 minutes with Debbie Blake in her office going over the town's insurance. We still took off a few things that had been on the town's insurance for many, many years that we don't have. We also found out that how the town's insurance policies are written was the company's called the clerk, and the clerk advised them what the insurance policy should be. So she said, Olivia made these numbers. We are overinsured to beat the band out here. We pay about $25,000 a year on our insurance. Debbie was pretty positive we could probably knock that down by a third if we did a workshop together. And, you know, like the town hall is insured for close to $200,000, just the building. That's a concrete pad that's poured, that nothing's gonna hurt that pad. And if we ever had to get rid of the building, you just take it away and we could put the Taj Mahal on there for $100,000. You know, and so we're paying good money on the stupid things. But I think we collectively need to have a workshop and discuss each and every item. So it would probably take an hour and a half or so to do. So I'll get with everybody, we'll do that in the next week or so, and get copies made up, and we can get that taken care of. We also found in the insurance policy, and Debbie didn't realize we had it, and the town didn't realize we had the policy, but we are paying for a policy that's called and made for designated wrongful employment practices and liability. We're insured for a $2 million policy on that, each occurrence. I talked to Debbie, I said, well, let me get this straight then. So when the clerk the past clerk made all these decisions to let people not pay their utility bills to the tune of close to $100,000, then we should be able to collect on that because this is an employee that did something that they weren't supposed to do. And she says, get all your records together and put it together. She says, yeah, that's what it's for. This will also, when we did the pending litigation, may kick in and take care of the pending litigation since the other didn't, because of the mistakes that were made. So we didn't even know we had this policy. She didn't know we had this policy until we went through it. And her eyes were like, you guys may be
The town is
covered.
paying for something they don't know they have.
Yep.
That has been, though.
And it may be in our favor for collecting some of
For a
this,
change.
for some of this money and stuff. So
Something's in our favor.
the only problems we have there is taking the time to get everything together,
All
and finding
ducks
all
in
the
a row.
records and getting that together. So I just wanted to let you know that we may be covered, you know,
We may get to
under a part of
recoup
it.
some of that.
The nice thing about the insurance portion of it, if we turn in under the insurance portion, we're not paying attorneys. And if they go after somebody, they'll go after them personally and stuff, and we won't have that expenditure. So
Kind of
we're
like
gonna
uninsured.
go for that.
Nice.
There's a big positive.
Yep.
Finally.
Clerk treasurer didn't have a report. Attorney is not present. Any public comments? Any public comments? Any public comments? Guess not. Motion to adjourn.
Motion we adjourn.
Second. Ayes have it, motion carried. All in favor?
All eyes. It's our way to go right.